Welcome students. Now we are starting a new series to cover the important concepts for your management paper. If you haven't subscribed, you can subscribe to the channel. Name of the channel is that Guruji, sharing knowledge online. We will discuss every important concept that are important for your exam. Let's begin our topic. Building blocks of competitive advantages. What are the building blocks of competitive advantages? You have the following building blocks: efficiency, increasing number of e-business view, customer relationship serves as a basis for achieving. Then you have quality. Quality should be maintained properly. Innovation is a legitimate business function. New ideas and techniques are required for managing the large scale corporate enterprise. Then you have responsiveness to customers. That is, the development of customer relationship management is a result of optimism expressed to many managers. Let's move further. You have learning, reinforcement, punishment and extension. Learning is defined as a relative permanent change in behavior as a result of direct or indirect experience. Reinforcement is process by which certain types of behaviors are strengthened. You have punishment, opposite of reinforcement. Punishment tends to lower the probability of a response by following it with an unpleasant consequence. You have extension, alternative to punishing. Undesirable behavior is extension. Let's move further. You have instrumental and terminal values. What are those? In instrumental, they reflect the means to achieving goals. That is, they represent the acceptable behavior to be used in achieving some end state. List of instrumental values: ambitious, broad-minded, capable, cheerful, clean, courageous, forgiving, helpful, honest, imaginative, independent, intellectual, logical, obedient, self-controlled. Terminal values represent the goal to be achieved or the end state of existence. It is the ultimate goal in a desired status or outcome. That is called terminal values. Let's move further. Let's have a list of terminal values: comfortable life, exciting life, sense of accomplishment, world of peace, equality, family security, freedom, happiness, freedom from inner conflict, national security, pleasure, self, respect, social recognition, true friendship, mature understanding of life. Let's move further. You have locus of control, one very important topic. It refers to the belief that individuals are master of their own fate. An individual generalized belief about internal versus external control is called locus of control. Two types. Locus of control is of two types. Internal locus of control, those individuals who believe that they can control their destinies. External locus of control, those individuals who believe that what happens to them are controlled by outside forces such as luck or chance. Let's move further. Components of personality. Three components of personality. First is id, only part of personality that is present at birth. Inherited, primitive, inaccessible and complete unconscious. Ego is the logical, rational, realistic part of the personality. Ego evolves and draws its energy from the id. One of the functions of ego is to satisfy the id urges. That is, its urges. Superego, moral component of the personality. Two parts. Conscience, consisting of all the behaviors for which we have punished and feel guilty. Ego ideal, containing the behavior for which we have been praised and rewarded. Let's move further. Self-efficacy. Self-efficacy refers to an individual believes that he or she is capable of performing a task. Higher the self-efficacy, more confidence in the ability of a person to succeed in a task. Four sources of self-efficacy: prior experience, behavior models, witnessing the success of others, persuasion from other people, assessment of current physical and emotional capabilities. Let's move further. Halo effect, barrier to perception. On the halo effect, a person is perceived on the basis of one trait. Halo effect is operating when we draw a general impression about an individual based on intelligence, social ability or appearance. Stereotyping, also a barrier to perception. Stereotyping person is perceived according to a single category. Very important key point. Stereotyping is used when we judge someone on the basis of our perception of the group to which he or she belongs, is generalization about a group of people. It means of simplifying a complex world, and it permits us to maintain consistency. Pygmalion effect, also known as self-fulfilling prophecies, refers to the situation in which our expectations about people affect our interaction in such a way that our expectations are fulfilled. Attributional biases. Interesting finding from attribution theory is that errors or biases that distort attributions. Attribution process may be affected by two common errors. Fundamental attribution error, tendency to make attributions to internal causes when focusing on someone else's behavior. When we make judgments about the behavior of other people, we have a tendency to underestimate the influence of external factors and overestimate the influence of internal factors. Self-serving bias. Individuals tend to attribute their own success to internal factors like ability or effort, while putting the blame for failure on external factors like luck. Job enlargement, enrichment and rotation. Enlargement is horizontal expansion of a job, involves the addition of tasks at the same level of skill and responsibility, done to keep workers from getting bored. Enrichment, vertical expansion of job, addition of tasks to a job to increase amount of employee control or responsibility, tries to eliminate the dysfunctional elements like luck, lack of challenge, repetitive procedures, or over control authority structure, and bring better performance to the workplace. Let's move further. Social loafing occurs when one or more group members rely on the efforts of other group members and fail to contribute their own time, effort, thoughts, or other resources to a group. They think that group's result will not indicate individual failure. It creates a real drag on a group's efforts and achievements. Team effectiveness. Factors that contribute team effectiveness are: tasks should be motivating and outcome of tasks should be perceived as being important to other people's lives. Challenging goals which are clearly defined. Group efforts should be rewarded. Team should have right blend of skills, agree on norms and regulation, develop effective problem solving techniques. Script analysis is detailing of specific life dramas that people compulsively play out. It is sophisticated and complex part of transactional analysis. Four most popular elements of script analysis are payoff or curse. This is the way the parents tell the child to end its life. Stoppers, they are injunctions or unfair negative comments from the present. Some important terms. Counter script messages are in the form of slogans, proverbs. Example, work hard. Program is what the parents teaches the child to do in order to live out the script. Levin's change model, based on the idea of force field analysis, proposed a 3-step model in change process. Unfreezing involves encouraging individuals to discard old behaviors by shaking up the equilibrium state that maintains the status quo. Change or moving new attitudes, values and behaviors are substituted for old ones. Refreezing involves the establishment of new attitudes, values and behaviors as the new status quo. Classical conditioning theory describes that when something happens and we react in a specific way, that means we are conditioned to behave in a certain way. Classical conditioning, the type of learning made by famous Pavlov experiment with dogs. Gist of the experiment is this: Pavlov presented dogs with food and measured their salivary response, how much they drooled. Then he began ringing a bell just before presenting the food. At first, the dog did not begin salivating until the food was presented. After a while, however, the dogs began to salivate when the sound of the bell was presented. They learned to associate the sound of the bell with the presentation of the food. As far as their immediate physiological responses were concerned, the sound of the bell became equivalent to the presentation of the food. Some of the key points. Classical conditioning is used by trainers for two purposes: to condition automatic responses such as drooling or calming without using the stimuli that would naturally create such a response, and to create an association between a stimulus that normally would not have any effect on the animal and a stimulus that would. Stimuli that animals react to without training are called primary or conditional stimuli, that is US. They include food, pain, and other instinctive stimuli. Stimuli that animals react to only after learning about them are called secondary or conditioned stimuli. These are stimuli that have been associated with a primary stimulus. In Pavlov's experiment, the sound of the bell meant nothing to the dogs at first. After its sound was associated with the presentation of food, it became a conditioned stimulus. Operant conditioning theory, important one. Operant conditioning forms an association between a behavior and a consequence. It includes a voluntary change in behavior, and in learning occurs as a consequence of such change. Consequences have to be immediate or clearly linked to the behavior. With verbal humans, we can explain the connection between the consequence and the behavior, even if they are separated in time. There are 4 possible consequences to any behavior. Anything that increases a behavior, makes it more frequently, makes it stronger, or makes it more likely to occur. Term that reinforce. Anything decreases behavior, makes it occur less frequently. Weaker, makes it less likely to occur, termed as a punisher. Some other key points related to cognitive learning theory. Cognitive focuses on an observable change in mental knowledge. Cognitive learning is learning achieved by thinking about the perceived relationship between events and individual goals and expectation. Refers to the individual ideas, thoughts, knowledge, interpretation, and understanding about the individual and environment. You have social learning theory. Social learning focuses on the learning that occurs within a social context. It considers how people learn from one another, encompassing such as concepts, observation, learning, imitation, and modeling. Principles. People can learn by observing the behaviors of others and the outcomes of those behavior. Learning can occur without a change in behavior. Consequences of behavior play an important role in learning. Cognition plays a role in learning. We'll see next of the topics in the next class. Hope you like the series. Do hit the bell icon. Subscribe to the channel so you do not miss on any topic. We'll continue the series in the next class.